Do we know for sure that, if DEI were never invented as a concept, then this accident never would have happened? No, we don't know that. Based on the information we have right now, we can't say that with certainty. One of the Black Hawk.
But he's going to rush in there to blame DEI, basically. So this whole preamble means nothing.
Pilots was reportedly, according to Fox News, a woman with just 500 hours of experience, but we don't yet know whether she was handling the controls at the time of the crash, although that seems likely since her male co-pilot was doing the radio calls. But we still don't know the full extent of her qualifications or anything else. There is still a lot we don't know. And at the same time, as Donald Trump outlined yesterday, that's not really the point. The point is that we shouldn't even have to wonder, even for a second, if DEI played a role in an incident like this. But we do have to.
So we should just rush to judgment. That's basically what you're saying. This is ridiculous. Yeah, this is just anti-intellectual garbage. And he's going to play the Trump clip here. Pay attention to this nonsense and the fallacies that he uses.
Ask that question because any agency or organization that practices DEI cannot claim to be upholding the highest possible standards.
Total lie. DEI and high standards are not mutually exclusive. This is ridiculous. You can have high standards and still have DEI practice. By the way, I'm not even a DEI enthusiast. I just know what it actually is. I think there are some instances of DEI which are dubious, which we should question and which may need to be scrapped. But Matt Walsh doesn't understand that. He just throws the whole thing under the bus.
That's the whole point here. It's not about whether any individual person involved in this incident was a quote-unquote DEI hire. They may or may not have been. We don't know. We'll never know that.
And that makes it so much easier for you to just throw your arms in the air and scream about DEI in general. It's like what I said about systemic racism. A lot of people on the right will say, oh, leftists just say everything's systemic racism. And they're only right in the sense that you can't just say everything is systemic racism, generally speaking. You do have to point to things more specifically. But this is what right-wingers do themselves. They just blame everything on DEI. They can't point to anything about individuals. They just say, oh, the system has become DEI tarnished, so DEI caused this or whatever. It's insane.
The point is the lowering of standards that happens and the inevitable results when you lower standards.
That doesn't happen.
And as Trump pointed out, it never ends well, particularly in an industry like aviation. Watch.
It's all under investigation.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense, okay? And
ludicrous answer, or non-answer, I guess we should say. Appeals to common sense are very, very low IQ retorts. This is total nonsense. Yeah, they do this all the time. Left-wingers do it too, to be fair. But you can't just say, oh, because common sense. No, Donald, this is anti-intellectual garbage.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't. We want brilliant people doing this. This is a major chess game at the highest level. And I do want to point out that various articles that appeared prior to my entering office, and here's one. The FAA's diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. That is amazing. And then it says FAA says people with severe disabilities are most underrepresented segment of the workforce, and they want them in, and they want them, they can be air traffic controllers. I don't think so.
No evidence that this caused this. No evidence at all. Just reading off these rules and these policies to vaguely gesture at the idea that this caused it is totally irresponsible, especially from the President of the United States.
Now, if we want to avoid future disasters like this one, we have to address the problem that Trump's talking about there. We don't really have a choice. You simply have to establish high standards for jobs like this. That's it. You have to have high standards across the board. And if you can't find enough applicants who meet those standards, if there's a shortage of qualified personnel, then the solution is to pay qualified applicants more so that you can attract competent people. And if you can't do any of that for some reason, and you end up understaffed and with not enough people, well, then you need to drastically reduce the traffic and the amount of work these people are doing by, for example, not having helicopters flying right in the path of incoming planes. At this point, we also need to take a full account.
So, first of all, the idea that you need to pay people more, I think, is pretty weird coming from a guy who's part of the pull yourselves up by your bootstraps movement. He never says this about minimum wage employees, people at stores, retail, fast food. In fact, he actually supports treating these people like garbage. He's actually said, yeah, we need to be Karens toward them. So this is just, it's totally ironic. But yeah, this whole thing is just vaguely gesturing at the idea of some problem, some big amorphous demon that's dragging down the standards of our society, and that in his view is DEI. And it's convenient for him. It really is. It's something that appears to be logical at first glance, but if you scratch beneath the surface, as I've done here, you will quickly see that it's totally farcical. And it's really just a lazy argument. So not a good look at all from Matt Walsh, not a good look from Donald Trump. Expect a lot more of this going forward from right-wingers. Expect them to blame the problems of climate change on DEI, actually. Hurricanes, wildfires. They'll say, oh, DEI caused this. No joke. Actually something that's going to happen. They'll blame the responses on DEI without looking at the underlying causes of the natural disaster, which are pretty much inevitably linked to climate change. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you in my next video.